us. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Hey, friend. Hi, friend. Hi, Amber. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Good afternoon to you. I have an appointment for my wrist on Monday. So I know people are going to ask. So the trick is this. I probably spent 15 minutes on the phone trying to get an appointment because the problem is it hurts. I call and make an appointment, but by the time I get to the appointment, it doesn't hurt anymore because I know how to make it feel better and not last so long. And so I had to set an appointment that's at least within a week because they're like, well, it doesn't hurt. And so there's not really anything we can do. Fuck preventative medicine, but it's not really preventative medicine. So, yeah. Got my first ticket in this round of sobriety today. Yeah, got my first ticket. It's the first ticket I've had in a long time. Right. My tags are expired. And I don't have the money for it, but I was going, and as soon as I'm like, there was a chip behind me, which is a cop on a motorcycle. Call them chips from where I come from, or from my day and age. Because there was a show called Chips. But anyway, had Estevez, not Emilio. It was the other one. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I can't remember. But I pull over, make sure it's a safe spot. And it was nice. It's been a while since I've been pulled over, and I'm not worried about going to jail. That was kind of nice. Right. And he actually let me off with a warning. He said, what we're going to do, cause he's like, where are you going? And I said, well, I'm going to run an AA meeting, and I know that I shouldn't have, but I feel obligated, because I promised I would do it. And I know that I know I shouldn't have, but I'm not going to give you the sob story as to why I don't have it done yet. He's like, okay, you get it done in a few weeks. Just bring us proof and we'll be good. So, right. So, displayed expired temporary tags, and operated a unregistered vehicle. The fine is $25.75. So, I guess there is a fine. It's not what he said. I guess I should read the whole. Maybe it's a fine if I don't show proof. That's what it'll be. All right. And he gave me a ticket. I said, thank you for your service. I hope you have a great day. I appreciate everything you do for us. Got an Australian accent too. All right. So we're going to be in 12 by 12 today. Your 12 by 12 probably has a cover. Mine is gone. This is what happens when you use your books. We're going to be on page 117. I actually took this from As Bill Sees It. All right. Just double check it. Double check it. Like the Doublemint twins. Page 116. We always read this one. I don't think I'm in the right book. I don't think because this isn't matching. 12 by 12, 116, 117. Okay. All right. I'm still double checking this. I'm just gonna, you know what? Maybe we'll get to the 12 by 12, but we'll just do it out of here. It won't cause any confusion. It's just not matching up. But I think my pages are one off. Some of my 12 by 12 is too. I have a 4th edition, but I have like one of the first ones that of the fourth edition that came out. And in the beginning, it's the forward to the third edition. It's different, or forward to the fourth edition. It's different. There's an extra paragraph in the new ones. Anyway, doesn't matter. The first 164 pages match. That's what we're going for. All right. So, welcome, Daily Trudge. And if you don't know me by now, well, you will never, never, never know me. If you don't know by now. All right, I'm Dion. I'm your host. I'm your singing host. I didn't say I was going to have a good tone. I just said I was going to sing. If you're here, who sings that song? Simply Red? No, Howard Jones. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Now it's bothering me. Now it's bothering me. Who sings that? Who sings If You Don't Know Me By Now?
If You Don't Know Me By Now was recorded by Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes.
I was very off on that. I wasn't even close. Well, that's not true. That's why I got it confused. Harold Melvin Howard Jones. It's the H-O. Welcome to my dyslexia problem. All right. Now that everybody's kind of run off, let's get started. Alcoholism was a lonely business, even though we were surrounded by people who loved us. Oh no, I kind of made it tough to love me. I did. Daryl says second edition is different from both the third and the fourth. In what way? Well, it is different because it doesn't have the forwards to the third and fourth edition. Because they weren't out yet. I'm just making a joke. I know the first one's different from the second one. That I do know. All right. But we were around people that loved us. We made it hard for them, didn't we? You know, alcohol wants you alone. It wants you separated from everybody else. This might be a little too well. If you enjoy horror and you listen to, and I'm finding out everybody in my clan seems to listen to horror stuff now. All right. You know, I think alcohol is a demonic spirit. I believe it. That is my belief. Right? Is it fact? Be hard to turn it into fact because I don't really totally know. All right. What does a demonic spirit want? What's the first thing it wants to do? Well, it wants control, does it not? Demonic spirits will make you do things that you would not normally do. It turns you into a different person. But what's the one thing that it's going to go for? Because see, demonic spirits thrive off of what? Pain and suffering. So what's the one thing they want? They want you separated from everyone else. Because it's a lot easier to control you that way. It's the way I see it. So take it as an example if you'd like to, or take it for what it is. Entirely up to you. But when our self-will had driven everybody away, our isolation became complete. Listen to it. Daryl says exactly, and the stories are in different order. Yeah. And some were replaced by new ones. Yeah. Yeah. What you guys know as acceptance is the answer used to be called Dr. Addict Alcoholic. Mm-hmm. I believe it was that one. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Right? So our self-will had driven it away. Was it really our self-will that drove it away? I don't know that I totally agree with that. I really didn't want to run everybody off. I did want to be loved, but I had no idea how to go about it. I also thought, well, you know, there's a lot of things in life that I haven't been allowed to have, And this is just another one. All right. It's when our isolation becomes complete, then an alcoholic probably becomes one of the most dangerous people in the world. It sucks. I don't know what about it is my brain that and it knows better. It knows better. So I was correct. Okay, cool. Thank you, Amber. I appreciate you double checking that. I was like 90% sure I was right, but not totally. Thank you for checking that, really, because I don't want to pass on bad information, even if it's something like that. Our isolation became complete. We commenced to play the big shot in cheap bar rooms. I never did that. I never once bought a round. I never had enough money. Failing even in this, we had to fare forth alone on the street, depend upon the charity of passerbys. Now, that's going to mean something different to different people. If you've ever had to live on the streets and ask people for shit, it becomes something a little different. But in this case, we're kind of talking in an emotional, spiritual sense, not necessarily a physical one, right? Why did I hate? The reason I hung out at bars is because those people were the same as me. We weren't doing anything with our lives. But at least there were people around that were kind of like me because I felt really different than everybody else. Or at least I thought I did for a long time. Even after I had been sober 12 years and things that happened, there's even times I still go through it thinking that I am bodily and mentally different from pretty much everybody in the world. And then usually something happens. God reminds me that I'm not alone anymore, that I don't have to sit in that. He'll somehow show me his love, his compassion for me. All right. We were trying to find emotional security. Now, why was I doing this? It wasn't just the alcohol. I grew up in an alcoholic home. Okay. I'm going to tell you something. I didn't start feeling emotionally secure till about 5 years ago. And it has a lot to do with my wife. She went through a lot and because she didn't grow up in a home that was emotionally secure either. In fact, I think what she went through was harder than what I went through. Right? I feel that way. Some of the things that she's told me. Yeah. But so the thing is, I didn't realize that my emotional security had to come from me. That was the thing that I didn't realize. But I never felt emotionally secure in the house that I grew up in. I was constantly being told how I should feel, what I am, who I am, defining. No. So I had to find my own emotional security. And that had to start with stopping my abuse of other people in an emotional way to make me feel better about myself. Either that was like making sure that they were in my life and coddling them, or hating upon people. I used to love the fact that I hated people. I used to revel in the fact that I did not like people. Big running joke still in the family. I have shirts. I won't wear it anymore. I have a shirt that said I used to be a people person, but people ruined it. It's funny, but I don't want to make that statement anymore. I don't get off on that anymore. Making myself feel a little bit more superior to the next person so that I can feel better about myself. That's why I'm very careful about my gratitude. Because for me, it does. It'll just sink into, well, I'm grateful that I have this, even though other people don't. And that makes me feel bad. It does. I don't like the feeling I get from it. So either by dominating or by being dependent upon others. Even when our fortunes had not totally ebbed, we nevertheless found ourselves alone in the world. We still vainly try to be secure by some healthy, unhealthy sort of domination or dependence. So it's not surprising that when an alcoholic gets sober, if they don't find a suitable replacement like the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous, maybe another peer support run group, maybe it's God, but we have to find a healthy way to start loving and being a part of, right? I had to essentially I had to grow up emotionally, right? And it's weird because it's like I never grew up emotionally, but that's because I never had the chance to be a child. A lot of us had to grow up really, really fast. Yeah. You know, I look at my granddaughter, 7 years old, and I think, man, that's when I started doing dishes by hand. We didn't have a fucking dishwasher. I was the dishwasher. My brother Scott, he was the dishwasher. We were the dishwashers. My little brother and sister never had to go really through that part. Maybe they did because I wasn't. Yeah. How do I know? They know how to do dishes now, though. They better. They're in their darn, 40s, late 40s, early 50s now. They know how to do dishes. All right, but I had to stop searching outside of myself for my self-esteem because that's what this is, right? And I'm sure that you could probably empathize with this. Let's say we had Celebrate Dion Day, and this is while I was drinking. We could have Celebrate Dion Day. Now I would just absolutely love it, right? Because I love being the center of attention. So I'd love it if we did it now, right? And we filled up Mile High, and Dion's favorite bands were playing, and it was Dion's favorite food, and everything was Dion. I'd still feel like the loneliest person in the world. I would, in that case, I would feel so set apart because I knew I didn't deserve it, because I knew I hadn't earned it. That the only reason it was happening is because some bullshit I pulled. I would know it. And that'd be a hard one to hide, huh? And I know that you know how I feel on that. I know you feel the same way, right? So it's this terminal uniqueness. That's the other thing that a demonic spirit wants to do. It wants you to feel like you're unique, that nobody else is going through, or nobody else can even try and understand what you are going through. Well, you had my wife, you drink too. If you had my job, you drink too. If you had my husband, you drink too. I'm going to throw husband in there too because I said wife, right? All these different reasons, all these different excuses for drinking. And that's all they were. There were excuses. There was never a valid reason. There were valid reasons for me to have a drink, but there were not valid reasons for me to have a 12 pack and destroy the living room. I take it a lot further than what it needs to be. And we are not terminally unique. I am not terminally unique. There are other people, even friends of mine. Maybe they don't have the same mental illnesses, but they have a few stacked like I do too. The fact that we think the same, that we kind of act the same, even though we came from different worlds, right? You get through that fourth and that fifth step and find out that there's an all-loving, powerful creator out there that loves you more than you know, more than you could ever fucking comprehend. I was talking to Pastor Marcia yesterday. I was telling her about our money woes, and she's mad we haven't been paid too. She's like, that ain't right. Or, I wish there was somebody I could do. I'm going to pray on it. And I was telling her, I said, well, sometimes God has his reasons. And she said, oh, no, this ain't God. God's not doing that. I don't think. I'm like, right on. I love her. right? At one point, yeah, I've been writing this, I've been using Chat GPT to write some things. Right. And I was telling her about it, and she's like, that turned out well. And I'm like, yeah, you can tell I didn't write it because there's no swear words in it at all. Well, fuck. Oh, for those of us who are like that, AA has a very special meaning. In this fellowship, we begin to learn right relations with people who understand us. We don't have to be alone anymore. You know, um, Daryl and I were talking before the 2 o'clock meeting about the grassroots meeting and how it feel, yeah, and how it feels like the meetings that we used to go to. You know, yesterday the topic was willingness, a, a topic you hear often. Man, the things people shared, wow, the hope that goes on in that meeting, it's it's nice. It's nice. I certainly hope everybody else has found a home group where they enjoy it like I'm really enjoying my home group. It's even neat just to hear other people say, "This is my home group. This is my home group." You know, and this is between me and my brain. But when I hear people say that, it makes me happy that I started the group. I'm not taking credit because there's no way Dion would have done this alone. But it was my idea, was, you know, so I'm glad that God gave me the opportunity to help create a group that other people feel comfortable enough to say, this is my home group. It's, you know, it's very rare that we have to start calling on people. We don't tell people to turn on their cameras. They just do it. Of course, we have a little thing in there that says, you know, we ask that you turn on your camera when you're sharing. Not everybody can do it. That's okay too. If you go over by a little bit of time, we're not going over there. Time, 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 time. Shut up. Let them talk. 46 more seconds. Oh, no. Boo. It almost always goes over time. And our parking lot meetings, there's an actual parking lot meeting. So, all right. I think that's good on this one. And I forgot that I have a podcast that I kind of need to do. I didn't finish up everything, but yeah, check out the new podcast. Sam did a great job. I'm very proud of her. I guess a few people already listened to it. They really enjoyed it. Not even really a different, you know, she didn't utilize AA, but gosh, the same stuff happened. The same promises happened. Or Amber, or having to mute them. Yeah. I seem to be the only one I'm the one that gets muted the most. I think that's awesome. And chat isn't like overused. People aren't having side conversations, which means everybody's listening. People are getting something out of it. You know, um, what a beautiful opportunity. You know, I love the fact that, you know, we don't have the best past, but yet God allows us to save his children. It still boggles my fucking mind that it happened that way. I ain't arguing though. Nope. All right. Thank you, everybody. I love you. You know I do. Peace out.